Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Minecraft Musings. This is Friday. Happy Friday. Um, yeah, like usual, got a lot of things going on. A lot of let's see. Yeah, I did set the alarm, but it's gonna be a few minutes early, but whatever, that's fine. So, anyways, just recent things. Also, as usual, doing a lot of things on the Twitters. Oh, this was fun. I retweeted a government official from China and said that we should legalize cannabis. Um, a little scary, a little nerve-wracking, yeah, but honestly, definitely not the worst that this poor lady has seen. And I was definitely, I don't know. I say that because it's very interesting to me how Twitter, especially remember, I come from a small mountain town where we're kind of disconnected from everyone anyway. I mean, we were getting dial up when a lot of people were, well, no, I mean, it's still kind of rippled out. Or no, here's a frame of reference. Starlink is just now hitting where I'm from. So, like, they're just now getting, like, that speed of internet. They've had, I want to say they have, like, fiber optic or something, but I don't know. Either way, my point is not a lot of communication. And now, from the comfort of my own home, I can tweet with somebody who is in a very big position of power with a country that is probably our second closest threat as of now. And not saying that, like we got to go to war with China or anything like that. Absolutely not. Like, these are things that are trying to de-escalate any situations, and try to clear up any air of. But and see, that's the thing. At the same time, and I don't voice my opinion of Taiwan on Twitter in case they're searching that. Now, I'm thinking they're probably searching the YouTube too. Like, anybody that comments on something from a government official, like, that's what governments do, is they investigate sketchy behavior, and especially people that, like, there are some very rude people on there, and that their government is like, yep, there's their IP, there's their location, we got satellites on them, we could scramble a jet whenever, and, like, as long as they're not in America, and even if they're in America, it's dangerous to be a jerk. So don't be a jerk. I mean, now, see, the other thing is the cannabis thing could be seen as offensive, but I made sure to explain, like, here's why, and I posted an article with some health benefits. Now, granted, cannabis is not safe. It's not like drinking a glass of milk or eating some food, or, I'm just thinking of, like, benign things, or water. And actually, even water can kill you. I mean, you can drown in it. If it's frozen, it can bludgeon you to death. Like, if it's in a vapor, a steam state, it could burn you to death. Sorry, that was a funny meme back in the day. Just kind of like, it was like to make people, or the story was, I don't know if it was true or made up, but it doesn't matter, was they were making something so convincing to ban, like, making this substance, this chemical, so dangerous that they should ban it. And it turned out to be water. And then they even said something as alarming. Did you know that's in 90% of your food that you eat? And then everybody, like, at that point, is like, oh God, like, freaking out and all this. And, like, oh. And that's why perspective is reality and perception is important, because you need to take a step back and be like, okay, wait a minute. So we're getting these. Now let's find out as much info as possible, especially, sorry, maybe not as much info every time. That's kind of where you need to be careful, because then it's paralysis with, like, spinning your wheels or overcomplicating things. But depending on the level of severity, like, if it can kill you, maybe you should look into it. And then, get a little more information. And then once you find out it's just H2O, and it's like, oh. Or I think they even described it as, like, this chemical compound, to automatically set up the reader to be like, okay, I'm already predetermined to have a disposition of dislike or distrust. Like, I don't know what this is. It sounds weird. I don't know. Like, I'm already opposed to it. And see, these are the little tricks that politicians use all the time, and it's ridiculous. Like, spinsters and fixers and, shufflers, movers. No, I'm just kidding. Those are even made up words. But, fixers is definitely a thing. Like, a fixer fixes things, fixes situations, media hype, spinning things. And then a spinner distorts reality, and basically by only presenting the specific information that they want to present. Spinner, like, I mean, oh, let's take this and let's spin it into something good. Like, oh, well, at least this, or, like, knife stab victim turns out had a tumor and the knife actually found it, or something like that. I've heard, again, a meme, probably not true, but just things that people create, like little thoughts and stories, like Aesop's fables or scriptures from the Bible. Like, sorry, it's human nature. And that's the thing, is, like, once you understand how humans think a little better, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but even just with my basic rudimentary exposure to, like, psychology, sociology, anthropology, history. I mean, because we even talked about how people used to think and how people used to do things. Like, and I had, public education, grade school, so already there's that, and those are the shoulders that I stood on that everybody is standing on. So referencing back to that statue on campus at CSU, it says, I only saw as far as I did because I stood on the shoulders of giants. So that's what we got to do. We got to take what our ancestors gave us and run with it. All of our ancestors, I mean, and within reason too, because I mean, there were periods in all of human history where we thought, the sun was a god, the moon was a god, and it might still be. We don't know. But we used to use things like gods or witchcraft or sorcery for things that we didn't understand. And now as we learn more things and less of the world is a mystery, less of it is witchcraft, less of it is hocus pocus, and I'm sorry, less of it is religion too. Now, religion is a very useful tool in molding and shaping human behavior. However, it does have a lot of outdated components because it hasn't had an update in thousands of years. And I'm talking about Christianity, but also Islam and Judaism. Like, actually, I can't really speak on Judaism and Islam, well, obviously without as much authority because I haven't lived it and I haven't had that much exposure to it. However, just knowing, again, how people think, how people act, the behavior of people, the psychology of people, it makes total sense. You make these stories, so they didn't have computers with like Jamboards and like nice handy tools or instant email so they could collaborate, or YouTube so you can share videos and collaborate with people. Like, and we don't even have to collaborate. Like I said, you take these ideas and run with it. So I mean, I do a bunch of throwbacks to like the other episodes. So the like I said and I was saying, not necessarily for this episode, I should clarify. Anyways, but yeah, take it and run with it. Stand on these shoulders. Not like I'm something special. Oh, and that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. I am not anything special. I'm about as average as you can get. Um, in fact, I've always been a little pudgy. Had a belly like my whole life, but I put in effort. And not just like, not saying that anyone or no one else is capable of putting in effort, but the problem is a lot of people don't know how to put in that effort or where to apply that effort. See, a lot of it is the mystery, the unknown, and then the frustration and the friction. So really, a lot of my work now is focused on reducing friction, both on the receiving end and the giving end of a lot of sorry, that sounded a little raunchy, but no. Well, like take the China cannabis thing. I'm only poking and saying like, hey, here's the thing. And I've done it before. They're very aware of me. Like, I mean, plus they're already probably aware of me because I was one of the students of the very first cybersecurity cohort of Colorado State University, which is a university. Anyways, doesn't matter. I mean, all universities do stuff for the government, for DARPA, for science, and not just for, really, unfortunately, some of it is for attack, but most of it is defense. Most of it is like, we're trying to just make sure that we don't get killed or invaded and taken over, which is ironic considering we just invaded the Middle East for 20 years. But just so you know, and especially to my listeners and my viewers from around the world, this is why America does what it does. Like, we're not, and I'm not proud of it, mind you. I'm only proud of about half of it. And even then, I have to question that half. Because, like, and don't get me wrong, there are some things across the aisle that I do like, I do agree with. I mean, fiscal responsibility, as I'm getting older, it makes more sense. But also when I was younger, it wasn't for a lack of trying. I just didn't really have the best family setup, and that's no fault of my parents. Like, times are tough, and like my parents in particular took a gamble to move up to the mountains and work in mines. Now, I noticed in the papers recently that the mines started opening back up, and I remember talking to a buddy up there that didn't really get to escape. I mean, he traveled, but he didn't get to move out, which is big. Like, you gotta move away from home at least for a little bit, and then he can come back. But I mean, if you don't get out of your fishbowl, your little bubble, I mean, it's not really living to the full potential. And I don't know. That's kind of life in a nutshell. You got to have the fine balance between work and enjoyment. So like this, I mean, we're playing video games all day. This is very enjoyable to me. Like, I love this. I mean, and I don't know. That kind of sounds like, oh, worry about like some kind of autism or spectrum, which, I mean, even that, it's not the end of the world. Although I do have two cousins that were diagnosed with, or no, sorry, one. See, I even got to be careful with that because as bad as I am with names, like, I just know that I have friends and family. There you go. We'll say that. They have autism. I've seen it. I've seen like what it's like, and same with Down, same with a lot of these things. And I don't know, things that we're trying as people to figure out, and also to um, I don't want to say compensate, because it's a really tricky thing to talk about things like this and not sound insensitive and not sound like belligerent and mean, even because people are already nervous and cautious about these things. Like if it's a, sorry, I don't need to lecture you about, but maybe I do, because there's a lot of there's one thing on the Twitters, there's a lot of insensitive, not, I mean, I don't know you, like that was just a generic thing, but no, I was talking and someone on the Twitter, oh, I don't even remember what it was, but then I checked out their Twitter page. And so that's the thing. Like, people don't realize that the first thing that people will do in a discussion is they look at your Twitter page, or they look at your, who am I talking to? They do a little reconnaissance, or a little recon. Same as cybersecurity. Like, people don't just wake up one day and decide to hack you. Like, watch all the Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13 movies, and you'll get a sense for, like, how much preparation goes into a heist. And even then, that's a fictional movie. I mean, it might even be based on something real, but I don't think I've heard of anything. I mean, I heard about this heist back in the Wild West days where one of the Wild West people, see again, don't care about the names, doesn't really matter, but a person, a human, was capable of robbing a bank and then destroying all of the loan documents. So it was really a real Robin Hood. Now, Robin Hood, for those of you that haven't heard or aren't aware, is a fictional character back in medieval times that he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. And Disney does this wonderful animal reenactment of it with like cartoon animals that can talk like people. They're polymorphized, or no, what is that? Personified. Or no, I think there's even a different term for it. It's like giving human characteristics to things or living things or non-living things that shouldn't. Like think Toy Story, think basically, well, Disney, a lot of Disney. They even have feelings, but no, when we're talking about, jeez, we just went over the right round. Robin Hood. So that's kind of a sense of morality for kiddos because they see that, and we're always, rooting for the underdog and hoping that the downtrodden, the meek, shall inherit the earth, like all of that. It's written in the Bible, and that's like the thing, and everybody's keeping on the lookout, like, well, when are the meek going to get their turn? And basically, that's what it means. And I know a lot of people that, well, working at like Subway, for instance, I worked with some people that was their career, and that was, and they were working up the ranks, but taking a while. I mean, and competing with younger kids that may or may not stick around, so there's stress and friction there, all because they may not have finished high school, or maybe they finished high school but they didn't go to college, and maybe whatever they were trying to do didn't work out, or life happened, maybe they got pregnant, or any number of things. Like there's so many different things, and that's why I'm really slow to judge somebody, because I look at them, I'm like, there are so many things that could be going on with this person. I don't even know. There could be like crazy skeletons and demons in that closet, like, or really bad hardships, or especially with like the Ukraine thing, like anytime there's war. I mean, with the Iraq thing too, like, I've had buddies, one got blown up twice driving for a general in Iraq. And like, he got kind of messed up. I mean, he survived, but, and in fact, I think he was like, he didn't get blown up so much as the car that he was driving got blown up. And it was basically like a car crash twice. I mean, explosion, but when you hear like he got blown up, you're thinking like body limbs and stuff. But well, no, even my one of my college friends from Saudi Arabia, his dad got injured in a mosque bombing. Like, and that's between like a lot of that is actually violence, inter-religious violence, mind you. So it's not like something weird happening in a far off place. Like the world's small. Everything's happening pretty close anymore. I mean, in a day or two, you can be on the other side of the world, and within a matter of seconds, you can talk to somebody on the other side of the world. It's like, well, not only that, sorry, that's kind of even archaic. I was doing coding competitions with people from countries all over the world, like little 15-minute challenges. And in fact, the videos are still up. They're kind of bad. So I'm still working on it. Like I was kind of having a chuckle at the drinking comment, and I try not to call out comments too, because I don't want to like embarrass anybody. But it's true, because I was like just drinking water without removing the headphones, and it was like glug glug glug. So sorry, I apologize, and I get it. But and rambling too. That's why I like doing these little half-hour things, going back through, trying to pick up threads that we lose, because I don't know. I mean, it's all fascinating to me, like studying people. And I know many people that do it too. People watching. Anytime anyone's told you that they like to people watch, that's basically what they're saying is like, hey, I like to sit at the mall and just see how people act. Like, try to tell their stories and it's human nature. It's not just American nature. It's not just British nature or Indian nature or Native American. See, make that distinction because they're not the same. Sorry, that's always bothered me about U.S. history. Is like, we learned about Christopher Columbus and like how he thought it was India. And the first thing I said was like, so wait, why do we call them Indians? And like, I think like half the class asked that. It was like, why do we call them Indians if they're not really from India? Like, didn't they notice that? Like, once they figured it out, and then, but maybe that's due to lack of communication or the expense of communication. So maybe it was just slow to happen. Now I know that's a really messed up thing to say, but think about it actually. Like, we like to say that there's a devil or there's evil people or like people from this part of the world are evil and there's no humanity. Like anybody that needs help with that, go watch Avatar. Like you start siding with the savages on the blue planet because it's actually like, wait a minute, no, that's we're invading their place, taking their resources, stealing their stuff. And for what? Like, so we can have a better life. And that's also human nature is conquer and consume resources, multiply, and almost like a plague or a virus. But then you get into the Star Trek thinking of it. And I need to watch some more Star Trek, but I was dating a gal and she got me into it. She was like, let's watch this. I don't even remember if it was, I think it was like the original ones. Anyways, the point of it though is, whoops, I brought some watermelons. The point is they observe other cultures. They observe other planets without interfering. Like their prime directive is do not interfere. Or like people that grow up in small mountain towns or nature areas. Yeah, it's not just mountains. Like anywhere that's nature still. Um, you leave it how you found it. You don't bring trash. I mean, if you actually, yeah, even as I say that, I'll bet you like the cornfields in Kansas or Nebraska or all like, people are around there are the same exact way. Like, if they find a bunch of trash in their cornfield, they're just gonna be like, ah, why would someone do this? And first thought is like, oh, those dang kids, and then even that human nature, like, well, why did the dang kids do it? Because they haven't lived long enough to experience enough of that friction or that unpleasantness to be like, oh, hey, we should pick this up, unless their parents instilled it upon them. But what if the parents are gone? What if one of the parents is gone, and then all they can do? Let's see, yeah, there's no space over there. We need like more, more chests, more storage, more, insert another hard drive. That's why I kind of chuckle because this is so corny that I have these signs here. Whoa. Yeah, in my storage facility. Disk storage, hard drive. And even then to center it, that's why I'm not a web developer. That would drive me nuts if that was like a website, because I'd want to have it centered and then centered. But oh, it is so hard. I mean, once you get it, it's fine. And then once you do it every day, whatever. But up until you actually like do it, oof. Oh wait. Huh. So I consolidated the cookies. I didn't think I'd have that many, but apparently, and that's when I need to spend emeralds to heal up my tools or whatever. So let's just do that. This will be the snack box. 'Cause, I mean, I don't really, at least not now, need. I mean, that's a kind of a weird flex that I don't know if I want to do. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Waddles and just kind of doing the things, and him and a lot of other great YouTubers, they do this. They have like the chest, they have a picture item frame on it. I mean, I've seen them stacked the other way, where the item frame is on the small side, which I don't like as much because then it's harder to like, get. This way, you have all of that surface area as your hit box. Actually, you can kind of see it. It's literally a box. Like that still hits when the crosshair is off of it, but still within the wireframe thing. Let's see. Anyways, we get way off topic there. I don't even know why we're. Oh yeah, the patterns, the design. Oh, the flex too. Yeah, there's some things that I won't be doing in these videos. Like, I don't know. Not that they're beneath me or anything. I know that's another misconception that I've seen. That like, it's I guess it is kind of like the straw man thing. Like, there's only so many options, so it has to fit in one of those. But if you say it like that, it sounds like pigeonholing. For the same reason. Like, if there's only so many options, it has to fit in one of those options. Otherwise, or it just has to. Like, and that's the other thing too. Flexibility, dynamic, all of that. With human nature, we get these false perceptions that it has to be that way or it has to fit. And then if you get an alternate perspective through many different ways, wait, We just brought the flowers right back, and this is still just as clustered as. What else can I really be taking out of here? All this terracotta. This is because that's kind of one thing. Actually, no, it's whatever. I will leave it here because we'll go ahead and. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, fine. Get it all out. No, what I was saying, I was like, oh, well, we'll go keep doing what I was doing the other night, and then we'll go take the produce back, or you know. The whole point of this is actually like it is like has been noted. It's like a diary. It's like journal, whatever you want to say, and then keeping track of things so I can do better on my side projects. Like I'm dragging my feet already on the language arts, or whatever it is. The last two GED videos that I want to do for the. It's only 4 videos, but I don't know. I still tried to even do it in a half an hour, and I couldn't. It was like I wasn't even halfway through the thing, and I saw I was about halfway. And I was like, no. Or I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate actually, but it's difficult. But then you got to think like a lot of this stuff is learned through years and years of school, sitting in class for hours at a time, and that's where it's at. It's a wasted. There's a lot of wasted effort because, well, for many different factors, and that's why I support the school lunch program because hunger. Like if your kid's hungry or if a kid's hungry, they're not going to learn as well. They're not going to learn at all. I mean, that's just a sad fact of it. And so then, yeah, and it's getting a lot better, and that's even no fault, or sorry, not no fault, but you can't be going and blaming the parents right away either for that, and especially if they're using substances. But like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like you still need to look out for the kids and watch the safety and do whatever is needed. However, you need to address the issue at the root source. Preventative, like a lot of it is, and you know, up until you get a security breach that costs millions of dollars, billions even. No, I don't know if it. I don't. Actually, maybe. I don't remember the exact dollar amounts, but we studied security breaches in my cyber class, and it was like, you know, it was the importance of it. Like, why is this relevant? Why are we learning all this stuff? Why, and especially when I already had a degree, did I spend more money to go learn more stuff when I was already, and granted, I was just impatient and I really couldn't wait. And that's the story for a lot of people. Is like, you know, I had kids coming, like, kind of like, okay, now we gotta go. We gotta make money. We gotta provide. So it kind of kicked things in high gear. Granted, I was already reeling from, anyways, but that's life. Think about the beach with the waves coming in, and you build the sandcastle, and you try to keep the water from destroying the sandcastle, but it's going to anyway. But you prolonged it for as long as possible. And not in a boring way, too. That's how you prolong. Now the music's getting all like into it and stuff. But no, you prolong the longevity of life so you have second and third and fourth chances. So say you don't get it right the first time, okay, go do it again. You know, like you got that whole, what is it, Beyonce or like Destiny's Child or some, you know, pick yourself off and dust again. Actually, maybe it's not even that. I don't know. But whole entire songs trying to tell you this, like, hey, if you fail, whatever, go do it again. You know, like try again. Dust yourself off. I was talking about like hitting on a woman. So that, like, you got to be careful because within reason, there should always be that caveat, like, it should just be known that you say within reason. Well, it's not. Well, and then you get into the whole life's not fair argument, but we're working on it. I mean, you know, Mr. Beast is building fountains over in Africa. Like, the church that I went to as a kid was building irrigation systems in Africa. Like, we're doing this stuff, and they're doing it too. Like, sorry, whenever I say these things, it's not that the locals are incapable. It's like, can you imagine, like, hey, someone walks up to you, hey, go build an irrigation ditch. You'd be like, wait, what? If you've never done it before, you have no idea what's going on. You're just like, okay, and like, and even like, it's not like they don't have some system in place, but I'm talking the areas where they have to walk like, you know, like so many miles to get just a jug of water. I saw this really cool invention that was like a roller wheel that saved them hassle on their neck and their back because people would be carrying stuff, and not just Africa, India, like Asia, America, like we've got problems all over. No one is perfect. I mean, it's just like, how do we think about solutions to these problems to really make them stick? You know, like, because another thing, I was looking into like world hunger, and I know it exists. Don't get me wrong, I know it exists, but when I was looking at it, it seemed to be only in war-torn areas, like places that were under regular conflict or struggle, which is, again, a lot of places in Africa. And embarrassingly, like, there might be some cases of some regime toppling from my own country, or any of the countries, really, because, again, it's human nature. It's not like the devil's out there doing one thing or another in America and whatever. So, that's why I both love and hate Twitter, because, like, and talking to my friends, too, like, a couple of my friends, it's okay. We have some really good political conversations, but a lot of them, it's like we just share offensive memes back and forth to each other, and we kind of laugh, kind of get upset, and then we laugh again, and then we forget about it. Like, but to the wrong people that weren't expecting that, it's very disrespectful and very offensive. And so, like the guy I was talking about earlier today, and I said something that I should probably go back and delete because it might have gone too far. I was calling him a piece of trash because, and here's why. It was an anti-black thing. So the whole thing with like the book banning. Now, and so right there, you can't just say the book banning because they're banning them for multiple reasons. For LGBTQ content, out of fear of grooming children, which is kind of like that's an opinion of someone that doesn't really understand what's going on, and then all they have to go off of are what they see. So right there, I can understand. Like, I've seen some pretty kind of questionable things. Like, I don't know if I'd want my kid there. Like, and I fully support LGBTQ. However, not the sexualization of it. And see, that's like going to a pride parade. You almost can't do that because they just make it perverse. Like, I mean, but and again, human nature. They're not like the devil. They're not some boogie people or whatever. They're not Martians. Like, they are people, and the reason they're doing that is because they've been downtrodden so long, and it is so hard. It's an upward climb for them to even get a word in edgewise when they're like, "Oh, I'm gay," and then, or I don't even know what a good example is that. Sorry, that's very. What I'm saying is, okay, there's that Matthew Shepard kid that got killed on the fence in Wyoming because he was gay. That was it. Like, I mean, maybe he was giving him some sass. Maybe he talked back. I don't know. But granted, again, he's human, and or was. He's dead now. So that's my point. Is like he will never get a chance to do a do over. He will never get to know the glory of and that's there's my alarm. But and that sucks. Like, that's terrible for me. Like, as a person, I can't stand like even one person doing that, let alone like the tons of people that get killed every day for stupid stuff. So again, no boogeymen, no boogie women, no devils, no Satan. This is all stuff that's done by people. All right, let's cut that there. Or no, we got 3 minutes now. Now it's the dangerous part. Like, do I try to talk for just like 2 minutes to finish the thought? I was just going to go into a whole nother one because that really is like, it deserves more than just the 3 minutes to talk. And I hate it because podcasts, I roll my eyes when I see it's like an hour long, but watch like 20, 30-minute episodes in a row. Sure. And I think it's just that assurance or that comfort knowing that, okay, that was fun. Now check my watch, check my phone. What do I got to do? And then go do it. And so, yeah, it took me a while to understand that. And some of the stuff that I say, it sounds pretty like basic and straightforward, but I'm really talking out loud. It's called rubber ducking in computer science. And it's where you discuss an idea. It's usually your code, but you can use it for anything. You should do it for everything. Um, well, but not too much because then you're just blabbing and rambling and all that. But yeah, let's get back to that. So, all right. That's good for this one. I will see you over in the next one. Still 2 minutes. All right. Ta ta.